Okay, now it's working. So, the mean is the average. I would like you to do something super simple. Add up some numbers and find the average of it. But what if I give you 2 numbers versus 3 numbers? Does that change the problem? Yeah, you do divide by 2 or you divide by 3. So here's 3 numbers. 8, and I bet you can do this in your head. 8 and 2 and another 2. Can you average those in your head? Adding them up in your head. Dividing by, what do you divide by? This will go faster if you participate. Just say it and we'll kind of move on. What do you divide by? 3 is correct. So you add them all up, and since there's 3 of them, you divide by 3, and it was adding up to 12 divided by 3 is 4. Did you get an average of 4? Okay, now, if there's one of your friends with $8 and 2 of your friends with $2, the average is $4. It's supposed to be kind of a number that's in the middle of the group. Would there be a better way to describe it? Well, the median is the middle number. So if I took the 8 and the 2 and the 2, I have to line them up. 2 and then 2 and then 8. The median's the middle one. Still not an awesome description of this group of people, but you got to admit, 2 out of the 3 people have $2. So, not terrible. And last is mode. And mode is the most common of the 3. So between 2 and 8, the mode of that is 2. It's the most common number. Okay, so if you're selling shoes, you might sell some size 6 and some size 7 and some size 12. You're going to sell different sizes, right? If you average them, does that really help you decide what kind of shoes to order for next time? No, because if you average it, it might be like 7.3. You're going to order some 7.3 shoes. That doesn't make any sense. Or what if you had a whole bunch of people that had 6s and a whole bunch of people who had 8s? You get the average would be probably about 7. And nobody even wanted 7s. So average isn't always the best. If you're ordering shoes, you'd probably want which one? Mean, median, or mode? Which one would you care about the most if you were a shoe company? Yes? Mode. The most commonly ordered size of shoes. Okay. All right. Last example I want to give you of real world stuff. Imagine you're in this neighborhood and you're on the end of a cul-de-sac and there's a house here and here and here and here. So you got 4 houses in your neighborhood. And you might have a teacher who lives here and makes like $40,000. And you might have an engineer right here who makes like $70,000. You might have somebody who's a barista and makes like $30,000 here. And then you might have, Kobe Bryant, who lives here, or Michael Jordan, who lives there, or some other like super wealthy person, and let's say that they make $2 million. Even though they're retired, they still make $2 million of new income just in their like ads. Do you get that $2 million is going to really throw off the average of the group? Because if you add them in, the average of your neighborhood's going to be like, holy cow, your whole neighborhood is rich. But maybe it really isn't. The 70 and the 40 and the 30 just get overwhelmed with this one huge number. Averages get thrown off by one big number. Does that happen in the real world? Is there situations where there's one really big number? Yeah. Like, for instance, houses in a neighborhood. Do you guys ever have a neighborhood where there's one house that's like way nicer than most of the other ones? Throw off the average value in the neighborhood. Okay? Or incomes again. If you take all of your friends, and you kind of know what their parents do, you might have an idea of how much they make. And if one of them has got like 2 neurosurgeons for parents, that might mean that they make a lot of money. It might throw off the average. Okay, but what doesn't it throw off? The median. Because what's the middle one here either way? Between 30, 40, 70, and 2 million, what's the middle one? You can't tell me what's in the middle between 30, 40, 70, and 2 million? Well, actually, there are four numbers there. 30,000, 40,000, 70,000, and 2 million, which I'm going to even stop writing zeros. It's ridiculous. Well, clearly that's not the middle one. What do you do when there's two numbers in the middle? Ironically, you average them. Even though you're not finding the average, you're finding the middle one. If you have two numbers in the middle, you average them. How do you average 40 and 70? Add them together. Divide by 2. This would be 65. So 65,000 would be the median. Do you get that this number doesn't even count in finding the middle number? If this person made 8 million last year, it still wouldn't count. The middle's still the middle. Okay, so here's the moral of the story. And a lot of the world doesn't know this. You should know this. Median is usually the better description, better than average, because the median doesn't get thrown off with one crazy number. Okay, so here's another example. 2, 2, 3, 5, 178, or 148, sorry. What's the middle number? That one's the middle. Do you get how this number did not throw off the middle number at all? Okay, so the median's better. If this was the value of houses around here, and this is 200,000, 200,000, 300,000, 500,000, and there's one that's like multi-million-dollar house. Doesn't throw off the middle. It would definitely throw off the average. Get what I'm saying? So averages are not awesome because they can get thrown off. But median is always the middle. All right, by the way, in this list, what was the mode? 2. This one, because it came up the most. Here's another weird situation, just so you know what happens. If they give you 2 and 2 and 5 and 7 and 7, now what's the most common? Do you pick the 2 or the 7? You actually list both, and you say it's bimodal. Because you wouldn't want to really average them, or it would be a number that isn't even in the list. Know what I mean? The average of those two would be 4.5. Between 2s and 7s, the average would be 4.5. And that's not what we want. The mode is 2 and 7 if it's ever like this. Or what if there's a list of 2, 3, 4, 5? What's the most common thing? There isn't one. So you just say no mode. You can say none. All right. If I asked you for the median of this, there's no exact middle. Write down what you think the median is, though, and compare with the kid next to you. These two rows, it's the person straight across or diagonal from you. These two rows, straight across or diagonal. These two rows, you guys compare. You turn around and compare with Truckee. Just hold your iPad up, and then you two compare. See what you guys think the median is on this one. Which do you pick if you got two numbers like this? You don't pick. Eddie, what do you think you do?
Oh, you add them up and then get the average of them.
Yep, get the average of them. So you add them up, that adds up to 7. You divide by 2, 3.5. Raise your hand if you knew it was 3.5. Okay, good. That's the middle one. And what's the average of them? Well, if I add them all up, 5 and 4 is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It adds up to 14. I take 14 and I divide by 4 numbers. Is 14 divided by 4 still 3.5? It might be. It is. So then our average is the same as our median. But I still say median's the best. Because if I added one more fact like, oh, this isn't actually a 5, it's a 50. Totally throws off the average. Doesn't even change the median. The middle one would stay the same. All right. I feel like you've learned everything I needed to teach you on this, which is pretty easy. And we have 2 Schoology quizzes today. The first one I want you to do is just on this. Mean, median, mode, super easy. You're gonna finish it pretty quick. And then we have another little Schoology quiz, which is kind of me drilling down on the basic 20 and making sure you've got, or sorry, first 20. Making sure you've got the first 20 down. And I know some of you had a rough time the first time we did the first 20. This one's much shorter, and it's not the whole 20. Okay, so we're just gonna do part of the first 20 for today. All right, I'm gonna pause for a minute while you guys work on the Schoology quiz that you see in today's folder.